This video is brought to you by the Disc Golf Depot, largest selection and best prices in the Pacific Northwest. Check out discgolfdepot.com for more information. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my review of the Innova Star AviarX3. Big thank you to the Disc Golf Depot for sponsoring this review. They are my local shop. I've shopped there forever, and I really appreciate their support. It means a lot to me to work with them. So next time you're in the Portland area, for sure go check out the Depot for a huge selection, including a ton of used plastic right now, which is a real gold mine. There's a lot of great plastic in there for good prices. I've picked up quite a few things out of the used selection at the Disc Golf Depot over the years. Lots of great stuff floating around in there. So thanks to them. Let's take a look at the Star AviarX3. There are your flight numbers, 3203. I love the Star logo. I think it looks really good. I like the letters. It just makes for a clean, good looking disc. I also like that they put the PDGA approved and the InnovaDisc.com right in this logo here. Definitely think the flight numbers are pretty spot on. So this is a small diameter, flat topped, overstable putt and approach disc, and this is a super popular type of disc. This is something that Innova's kind of been missing from their lineup for quite a while. Things like the Zone kind of started this whole craze and kind of established itself as a supremely functional type of disc. The Zone is still kind of the original as far as I'm concerned, unless somebody knows of something that came out before it, but that kind of small diameter flat top disc, the Zone really pioneered that, and we've seen almost all manufacturers come out with their variation of it. I think the Innova throwers are really going to dig this thing. On the bottom you'll see it's 170. AviarX3 is actually kind of like melted in, stamped in, so I like that quite a bit. I think that's a better system than writing it with pen that can go away over time. This one's definitely deeper than the Zone. I unfortunately do not have a Zone here in person to show you, but when we get a little bit further down the line, I will put a picture of it next to the Zone that I took at the Disc Golf Depot when I was picking this thing up, because I knew I didn't have one in my collection, but I will show it next to several other options as well. Very comfortable disc though. It's a little deeper than the Zone, as we said. It's got a little bit of a deeper dish feel, super smooth and rounded. I love the flat top feel, the small diameter. The whole thing combines to just really feel really nice and soft, comfortable in the hand, and I love it. The Star plastic is great. It's a super premium plastic. It's one of the most popular plastic types on the market for good reason. I also think it's a great choice for this type of disc rather than a baseline, because you want it to maintain that stability for a long period of time, and even as it breaks in, it's still going to be a very stable disc. So I think the premium plastic is a great choice for this style of disc. Star plastic, premium plastic for sure. Good grip and a nice kind of average flexibility to this particular one. Let's put it up next to several trilogy options based on stuff that I have. First of all, let's show you that picture of it next to the Zone. So you can see ultimately pretty similar. The Zone definitely flatter, lower profile. Not flatter, but lower profile. I do not have a Rat to show it up next to, but I hear the Rat is also very similar to the Zone in design. I hope to review that one eventually. Here's my disc that I use in this kind of roll is the Caltrup. I tend to throw the Soft, but I have this one closer. The Soft is out in my bag in another part of the house, so here it is next to an Opto Caltrup. The Caltrup looks like it almost might be slightly deeper, but I think it's similar. I think it's a slight optical illusion because this ridge here stands up a little taller to allow for that thumb track there on the Caltrup, but relatively similar in terms of design. I'll say the Caltrup's not quite as slanted on the other side there. Oh, fumble. We also got the final DGN stamped Harp, Westside Discs Harp. Very popular disc in this type of roll. So you can see similar depth as well for the Harp, a little bit deeper than some other discs. The Harp also has a little bit of a bead there, but other than that, somewhat similar. For sure, similar diameter. And then last but not least, Suspect's a little faster, definitely lower profile. As you can see, Suspect almost a little bit more of a mid-range, but very similar in terms of the roll that you would use it in your bag. I like all of these perfectly well. Let's talk about the flight of this thing. It is that classic flat-topped, overstable putt and approach disc. You know exactly what it's going to do. Throw it strong. You're not going to blow past the basket. It's going to stay very straight up to speed. It's going to have a consistent fade. This particular disc is pretty overstable for sure. It will of course break in, get a little straighter over time, but it starts out quite overstable. But that's what you want. You can throw it on hyzer, it'll hold it. You can throw it flat, it'll go straight and then finish. It's not going to flip up and ride at all. It has very low glide. You're not going to have to worry about really flying past the basket on an approach with this disc, which I think is a great attribute of this style of disc. For me, using the Caltra, I like to throw it out to the right a little bit, throw it strong. You don't have to worry about it flipping or getting squirrely on you at all. It's really effective for that. Also great for headwind putting. The X3 is the same deal. I really like it for headwind putts and short range putts where you want to kind of just spin putt nice and flat and just jam it in. It works really well for that. I actually enjoyed putting with it quite a bit. I don't think a lot of players are going to use it inside the circle, but you totally could, especially if you lived in a very windy area where you're consistently dealing with headwind putts and stuff like that. It could be a decent option just to get dialed in on this thing and learn how to use it, but I think it's ultimately best suited for utility shots and approaches. It doesn't go very far, so it's not the best tee shot disc for me personally. I think it would be more effective for that for power players. If you had a big arm, you can throw this thing off the tee and really lay into it. I don't see it flipping accidentally very much at all, even if you have a big arm. As you can see in some of the flight footage, it really has no natural turn whatsoever for me or James, who has a bigger arm than I do. So yeah, solid disc. I think this thing is going to be super popular. Whichever one of these that you end up throwing, it's just a really functional disc to have in your bag. So I think the Innova players are going to really, really like the AviarX3. That's my review. I'll check you all very soon. Cheers.